Hey guys, it's Ivan Schumer. Back with another vlog. I know I haven't been posting lately. I'm sorry, I've been really caught up with just work and family and thrift shopping and yeah, just that stuff. So anyway, I'm here today and I'm kind of gonna do a little bit of something different. Basically, somebody criticized me the other day because they said I wasn't intelligent enough about our government. Okay, I get it. I'm pretty bad in government. I mean, in high school, not good. Not a good student. And yeah, but anyway, the point is, government. One of the most important things currently for people our age is the 26th Amendment, which I don't know if you guys knew. Apparently I didn't know either because somebody had to point it out to me on Twitter. I mean, literally, if I had my phone, the post was so absurd. I was so offended. 26th Amendment. If you want to know what it says, take a look at this dope book that I bought. To the back of the book, I'm not saying you have this book with you. You flip to the back of the book, it literally says the right of the citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. And then section 2, the Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation, which is super important, both of those parts. I'll go over in a minute, but basically the way that I started with this research to find out what I was talking about, I figured hey, my grandpa, literally Henry Wordsworth, was alive during the passing of this amendment, and I was obviously I gotta find out what he has to say. So I'm basically just gonna cue the video in right everywhere right now.
You that kid here to interview me?
Yes.
Guess what?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Kids nowadays don't got no respect.
Alright.
Alright? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Want some whiskey?
No.
What, you some kind of pansy? You don't drink whiskey?
I'm not 21. It's illegal.
You know what I have to say about that? Back when I was in the Vietnam War, I was 20 years old. I couldn't even vote. You know that?
No, I didn't.
Up until there was that thing, 26th Amendment, I believe. Kids couldn't even vote until they were 21.
When were you born?
1945-ish.
Weren't you already 21 when the amendment was passed?
Amendment passed in, what was it, 71? It was too damn late already. I was trying to vote against the war. I didn't want to be out there. I lost my leg for nothing.
So you seem kind of bitter that you didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah, you damn kids these days don't even care about things like voting. Back then, that's all I wanted to do.
What's the difference? I haven't registered to vote.
You what? You haven't registered to vote?
No.
You ungrateful little... Ugh. I don't even have anything else to say about this.
Worth literally the most bitter old man ever. Still kicking and literally missing a leg. But despite that, he brought up some good points. I get it, the military, obviously, you could go into the military, but you couldn't even vote for the agenda that they were planning for. How does that make any sense? I get that. I get that part. I get that. And then obviously, that was how it came up because it wasn't just my grandpa. There were plenty of people. But I was okay, well, I need to find some educated person who could help me out. So then I found this video, Dr. Martha Stewart. But let's take a look at the video.
Hello, this is Dr. Martha Stewart. Today we'll be talking about the 26th Amendment in the 26th segment of the Amendment series. So, the 26th Amendment lowered the voting age to 18 from 21, and this allowed people who were drafted to be able to vote in the same time period that they were being drafted for the war in Vietnam. This was possible all because of Richard Nixon and his contributions creating the Voting Rights Act in 1965, and the actual amendment was passed in March on the 23rd of March in 1971.
Alright, well, despite the fact that the quality of that video was atrocious, literally terrible, terrible video. Who recorded that? Like, who was... Anyway, the point is, she missed a lot of stuff. Nixon wasn't the only guy that did that. I mean, shout out to Jennings Rudolph. Like, Jennings Rudolph was literally a Democratic Senate congressman who, like, got the thing started as something people looked at. Dwight Eisenhower even pushed it in a manner in which he made people realize that 18 should have been a mature voting age. On top of that, when was it passed? When was the amendment passed? Why was it even passed? The Voting Rights Act, you mentioned it. The Voting Rights Act was deemed unconstitutional in Oregon versus Mitchell. It was deemed that Congress had no right to regulate like the age of voting in states, and neither did the states. So they had to make it into an amendment. It wasn't a solid piece of law, and it wasn't signed into law until later. It was passed in March, but it wasn't actually signed into the Constitution officially until July of 1971, which is exactly why my grandfather didn't even have any reason to come back early. I mean, I don't think that would have mattered. It just makes no sense. Oregon versus Mitchell was the entire reason that it got passed. Shout out to Jennings Rudolph and Dwight Eisenhower, first of all, because you definitely forgot them. Nixon was a good guy, definitely a really good guy, but he didn't do that much. Like, he didn't do that much to affect it. It wasn't him. He didn't start it. It was Jennings Rudolph, Democratic congressman, and then later to go into the Senate. He brought it up in Senate and Congress so many times that people got the idea that it was something that needed to happen. And then Dwight Eisenhower probably caught wind from him, like definitely caught something from him, and was like, yeah, no, definitely. Like, 18 is a good age for people to vote. If we're throwing them into the war and they can fight, like, they should definitely be allowed to vote. Then Nixon was like, oh, you know what? I'm president now. Let's do something cool. But the Voting Rights Act was his way of doing it. He even agreed that the Voting Rights Act was not good enough, and he wanted an amendment. So then Oregon versus Mitchell came up because literally there had to be some sort of case. It was unconstitutional for Congress to determine whether this, like, who could vote in the states, and it only covered federal elections, so states couldn't regulate the elections either, and it makes no sense because then they had to write into like an amendment, and that's why Oregon versus Mitchell caused this to become an amendment. And it was passed in March, but it wasn't actually written into law until July, so it's not like there was that 4-month period where people could start voting. No, it started later. It was written into law later. You know what? Despite all this, and despite the fact that I did so much research on it, it's funny to think, because if we had lived in Henry Wordsworth's days, my grandfather, I don't know what we'd do. We wouldn't be able to vote for what we're fighting for. How does that make any sense to you? So I feel like at this point, it's like people want everything to be lowered, but it's like at this point they think people aren't mature enough now and they want to raise it. But I don't think it'll ever happen, because if you're going to keep throwing us into war at 18 years old, even though it's our choice obviously at this point, you can't make us wait to vote. You have to let us. So it's an amendment very necessary to the Constitution. Not dire, not crucial to life, but crucial to order and trust in our government that they allow us to participate even at 18. Well, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, many more to come. First vlog of literally, 2016, first vlog of 2016. Anyway, hope you guys all have a great day. Don't forget to comment, rate, what else is there? Like, subscribe, do everything. Just subscribe to me, and I'll make more vlogs like this, unless you hated it, because I definitely kind of did. See you later.